Welcome to another episode of Aslan Speaks. Today, the topic is darkness to light, improving your life. First, I'm sorry that I haven't been posting on this channel. I get caught up in many other things, my everyday life, my job, my writing. I also do little reels on TikTok and Instagram. And if you're interested in any of that, I'm on Aslan Speaks on TikTok and Aslan Speaks on Instagram. But basically, I get caught up in so many things. I got a lot of irons in the fire, so to speak. So today, I want to talk about, we're all going through moments of darkness and despair in our lives, right? Some of us have unhealthy living situations, meaning that you're not content with your living situation. Maybe you can't pay the rent, or maybe you can't afford the bills, meaning like your food or the gas or electric, etc. How do we overcome that? How do we overcome to having a prosperous life? The other day I did a video talking about darkness and light, and we all have moments of like what I call rock bottom, where we're over life, we don't know what to do, we've been fighting for so long for success, but we keep slipping backwards. And that's okay, guys, because basically darkness is just all darkness is just a mere avoidance of light, or the lack of light. And when you choose to bring light into your life, you could transform the darkness, that despair, into happiness and joy. Do you want happiness and joy in your life? And what I'm going to say next is going to probably, could trigger some of you guys, but continue to listen. Some of the dark moments in our lives, the reason some of us who have an unhealthy living situation, maybe where you're living with somebody else that you can't stand to be around. Maybe it's an ex or even a lover that you no longer love or care about, but you're only with them for survival purposes. So where I mean is, you place yourself in that darkness sometimes. Yes, there is external factors, external things that happen, that you can't control. Other people's behaviors that you can't control. But what you can control, this is very important, is you. You can control the way you think. You can control the way you respond in a situation. That's really important. And especially if you're learning self-mastery, is how do you respond in a situation? Especially if you're living in a situation where you can't stand the person you're living with. But if you lash out at them, they're going to kick you to the curb and you're going to be homeless. So do you respond in anger? Or do you respond in love? How I respond with people is respectfully. So with respect. If someone doesn't respect you, then usually I don't respect them back, But if you're in a tough living situation, you have to show respect. You got to show kindness, even if you don't want to. But like I stated before, sometimes you placed yourself, yes, I'm talking to you out there, in that dark situation. And to climb out of that hole that you put yourself into in this life is for me, I bring the light, I bring that happiness, a joy. I change my way of thinking, and I change my responses, and I change my actions in life. So if you find yourself in that place, that despair, that darkness, ask yourself, what did I do to get myself here? Let me repeat that. What have I done to get myself in this place? What actions did I take? What choices did I make? Were they good choices? Were they bad choices? Or also, like I said, there's also external factors. And sometimes you get lured or tricked into these places that you put yourself in. Somebody else is wearing a mask, so to speak, in life, and you believe everything they say, hook, line, and sinker, and then you end up moving in with them, or you giving your time and energy to this person or this job or place, and it's not what you think. It was an illusion, a flipperoo. So, if you find yourself in despair, rock bottom, or in an unhealthy living situation, or even in yourself, if you're living an unhealthy lifestyle, rule number one is ask yourself, what can I do to change my life? What choice can I make, or what choices can I make to change my life? What actions do I need to take to change my life? Let me repeat that. What actions? Energy and motion. So you gotta put some type of your energy, your time into something to change something, right? So if you find yourself in a tough living situation, well, you can make the choice. I'm gonna set the goal to change my life. I'm gonna set the goal to change my living situation. Because I've been there, guys. Years and years ago, probably, let's see, my early 20s, I made a terrible choice, and I chose to get a roommate and live in the apartment I was going to co-rent with a friend of mine. And I've known the guy for years, and I didn't really have a roommate situation before, and I took that opportunity, and I'm like, yes, the rent's affordable, even though the apartment that we had was a dump, and my room was like a closet. Basically, in my room, I could fit a bed and a dresser, and I could literally almost touch the walls with reaching out. What I soon learned after, at first I was like, this is going to be awesome, we get along so great. And then I soon learned after a month or two that I was so unhappy in that situation. And I love my roommate, and I don't want to badmouth them, but, we all have toxic traits. Me, I was very angry, or ruled by anger back then, so I would get angry, upset, and lash out with my words back then, especially with him. And he was he was an alcoholic, and he was addicted to many substances, and it was a very toxic situation for me. And I soon found myself very unhappy in that situation. I didn't want to be there. Anywhere from let's say I had to work in the morning at 6 in the morning, and then I'd be woken up at 3 in the morning to my roommate and his friends partying, drinking, playing video games, blaring music, with no regard for me sleeping and knowing that I had to work the next day. So I found myself, I'll just leave it at that. I found myself in a tough situation back then. I was very unhappy. I lived paycheck to paycheck. I could barely afford the food to feed myself, right? I remember at my lowest moments living there, I remember there was nothing in the fridge, and I had maybe $1 or $2 to my name, and all I had was spaghetti noodles and ketchup, and that's what I ate. I boiled noodles, and I put ketchup on it, and that was my meal. Or the same era of time, I remember all I had was a piece of bread and mustard, and I would just put bread and mustard and eat that. I was in a tough spot. I wasn't happy completely. I had moments of spurs of happiness, but financially and living situation wise, I wasn't happy. And then looking back at it through self-mastery and a spiritual vision and ears, I put myself there. From being egotistic, living in my ego, or being prideful. I had an opportunity back then. The girlfriend that I had at the time offered to let me live with her. And it was very healthy and everything over there, but I was so prideful that I was like, I'm not living off my girlfriend. I don't want her just to pay the rent. I don't want to just be a mooch or a freeloader. So out of pride, I turned that down and I stayed where I was. And being in a toxic environment, I ended up being surrounded by other toxic individuals, and they smoke and drank. And then guess what I did? I smoked and drank, and then any money that I did have, I would be going out every Friday and Saturday and blowing what I had made. And then I struggled every month to pay the rent. And then, like I said, I chose to go out clubbing before I chose to put food in my refrigerator. I made poor choices. So long story short is that situation in my life was very unhealthy and I was very unhappy. And then at some point I said, I need to change. I need to do better for myself. I need to make better decisions. And that's when I started learning about self-mastery, meditations, your thoughts create. And back then I knew very little. Now I know a lot. And so that dark moments in my life, I choose to transcend it. And I was like, this is not going good for me. So I chose to leave. I said, this place, I can't thrive. It's not a healthy situation. I'm unhappy. So I chose to move, and I did move. And it turned out to be one of the best decisions of my life. And if you're in that moment of darkness in your life, I'm going to share this with you. Your inner knowing, your intuition guides you. Your inner knowing and your intuition guides you. That's how you know, hey, I'm unhappy. Like that voice in your gut, the pit of your stomach saying, hey, you're unhappy. You're unhappy. You're sad. You're depressed. And it's telling you over and over. And the minute you get that voice changes, is when you actually listen to it and start doing something to change that voice into better, where it goes from being a negative voice to a positive voice. You'll know, because when you have that uneasiness inside you, there's something off in the ether. That's your moral compass. That's your inner compass telling you, hey, you're not at the destination you should be at. So if you're trying to change your life, you're trying to transmute from darkness to light, listen to that inner compass. That inner compass inside you, your intuition, guides you to the path that you should be on. And when it's constantly, when you're sitting at home having sleepless nights, in your head, overthinking, overanalyzing, feeling down for yourself, it's because you're not listening to that inner compass. Me, I listen to that inner compass now every day, every moment, every second. Live is when I'm speaking to you. That's my intuitive ability, using me to speak to you, to help you guys on your journey. And so make a change. Choose to change your life. You know, a lot of people rely on others to change their lives. That doesn't work. Or they blame others. The reason I'm living like this, the reason I'm broke, the reason my car's broke, is because this person didn't do this for me, it's because my parents weren't there for me, yada, yada, yada. The poor, pitiful me act. Guys, I was that guy 15 years ago. Poor, pitiful me. The reason I don't have this or this is because, and I would put the blame game. Blame this person or that person. Like, long story short, the blame game, guys. And now I detest people who do the blame game or do the poor, pitiful me. Because I learned how to step into my power. And one of the things with changing your life to transmute that darkness within or around you is to see the darkness within yourself and be like, I'm going to shine a light on it and expose it. Meaning, I shine a light on my own excuses, the blame game, and I said, you know what? Maybe it's not their fault. It is my fault. I have to take responsibility for my own actions and choices. And so if you're trying to change your life, take responsibility. If you're almost homeless, if you pushed away people, kind, caring people that could have helped you, but you, because of your own choices, pushed them away, that's on you. Maybe you had parents and they had your childhood room for you and you could have stayed there at any time. But because of your own poor choices, your own negative thinking and your negative actions, you have literally drove your parents away where they don't want you at their house no more. Because you refuse to change. You refuse to take responsibility. So, and it's hard, guys. It's hard to look at yourself and be like, yep, I messed up there. Yep, I messed up there. And the key is, if you take responsibility to make lasting change, the key is not make the same decisions and poor actions that led you to that pit of despair, or led you to that darkness. And that's what I had to learn years ago. Like, because I was repeating it like a hamster wheel, going over and over. Like, when in my early 20s, I would have moments of very success, and then fall. Moments of success, fall. I had houses, I had cars, had money, and then I lose it all. Gain it all back, lose it all. And why? Because I still hung out with the same toxic people. I still chose to drink all the time. I chose to smoke the herb all the time. And I put my money, and I just made poor decisions. And now I choose better decisions, more positive decisions. I choose positive friends. I choose positive family members. And I choose to be positive. Positive actions, positive deeds, positive thinking, positive feeling. No longer do I do the blame game. I take responsibility. And when I started changing my life, changing my actions, I started moving from that darkness to the light. When I was younger, I grew up as a Christian, and I grew up in the church and stuff. And in my early 20s, I lost my way, so to speak. I stopped praying to God every night. And when I was going through that rough patch in that apartment, I remember praying to God. I asked God, I'm like, I turned my focus to Him, and I said, I'm making bad choices. I'm spending my money unwisely. I'm hanging around toxic people, or toxic lovers, or toxic environments. And I just prayed to God, and I asked Him to help me. Because to transmute that darkness in your life, you have to turn to the light. You could ask God for help, His assistance. And just by asking God for help, that is mere defiance of the darkness, or the evil in this world. Because there is evil in this world that sometimes I believe there's external factors or unseen forces that pull you into that darkness or that abyss. And some people don't get out of it. They're hooked on drugs. They choose really shady careers because it's fast money. But fast money comes and goes, guys. So basically, I chose God, and I don't mind, I'm a Christian, but it depends whatever you believe in. You can believe in Allah, you can believe in the universal intelligence, the divine intelligence, or the divine creator, whatever. God has many names. But what God is positivity. It's that higher vibration. It's that joy, that love. That's that gratefulness, gratitude. Do you have gratitude? I might go off on another subject right this minute, but I see so many people, and that could be you. You could find yourself in this situation where maybe your living situation ain't that bad. Maybe you have some people have a car, they have a house, they have a wife, they have, they're doing okay. But they're still depressed or sad because in our society, we're brainwashed to be more. I need more. Instead of you driving your little Toyota Corolla that gets you to point A to point B, they're like, you have a car that runs good, but you're like, I'm unhappy because I really want a Porsche or a Lamborghini. The same thing with a house. You may have a house that keeps the rain, the snow out, away from you, and you stay warm and dry, and yet you're like, in your mind, oh, I need a mansion, right? It's a perspective. And I see so people so unhappy, and I look at their lives, and sometimes they're way better off than me, financially and everything, and they're so unhappy. And so I take the time for you to remind you guys to be grateful. To be grateful. Do you have a roof over your head? Be grateful, because there's people all over the world who are homeless. They don't even have a basic roof over their head. That they're sleeping in tents. So be like, Lord, thank you that I have a roof over my head. Maybe you have a full belly. Maybe it's not prime steak, but at least you got your belly full. Because there's people out there who are going hungry. So be grateful for what you have. And sometimes I remind myself, because I'm also human and I'm flawed, and I'm like, sometimes I dream of having a fancy sports car, and then I realize, wait, I already have a good reliable car. So I say thank you, universe, or thank you, God, that I already have a reliable car, to roof over my head, and I'm doing pretty good in my life. And how I started doing good from back 15 years ago or so, when I was living really struggling every day, is I chose to change my life. I chose to change myself. I had to truly look and shine a light in the dark aspects of myself, or the toxic aspects, or the negative behaviors of myself, and say, is this really me? Is this really me? Or can I do better? I ask you, can you do better? Can you make better choices? Better decisions? Or even be a better person? When I was younger, I kind of was an a-hole to certain people. And I realize it now, self-reflection, that I could have treated some of my friends or people back in the day a little bit better. Or no, a lot better. I'm going to improve. I always take it to 100, right? And because I was in my pride, I was in my ego, I was in my lower nature a lot of the times, because I didn't know nothing about self-mastery, self-reflection, and transmutation. From being in my a-hole state, I could have changed to be in a loving state, and chose better decision, or talk to people better. Instead of pushing them away, I could have pulled them closer. And it's a learning experience, guys. This life's not easy. Sometimes we do get caught up in our lower nature. And so, at any moment, you could transmute that darkness to light. You could choose God in your life. You can choose to take responsibility for your life, your actions, deeds, and thoughts. And you can choose better. And when I did that, my life changed, guys. I'm thriving right now. And a lot of people come up to me and go, what is it about you? Often, so many people are focused on the outer world, that materialism, or having that 10 out of 10 boyfriend, the Barbie and Ken looks. But looks isn't everything, guys. I want a person with a pure heart, pure mind, pure soul. And so it's time for you to change. If you're watching this, there's the universe, the creator has brought to your awareness for a reason. And the creator has used me as a messenger to reach you. So it's up to you. Transmute the darkness to light that led to gold. That's the secret of the Philosopher's Stone, because you are the Philosopher's Stone, or the Sorcerer's Stone, whatever you want to call it. You can transmute and become what you want. I was often in some of my stuff, I use the metaphor, the lesson of the caterpillar. And sadly, a lot of people, or the caterpillar and the butterfly. And I see a lot of people who are still stuck in that caterpillar state. They still living in despair, lack, negative situations, toxic situations, unhappy situations. And because they're choosing to stay where they are. They don't realize that maybe they're drinking 4 or 5 times a week has an effect on their life, or they're smoking the herb every day, every hour has an effect on their life. Guys, I used to smoke all the time, and what I realize is when you're under the influence, your mind's under the influence, and you don't think clear thoughts. You don't do clear actions. You were sometimes even smoking and drinking, or on some type of substance, blocks your connection to your soul, your intuitive self, your inner knowing. And so you're not getting clear signals, so you're not making clear decisions or clear actions, and it's affecting your life. And the minute I started thinking with a clear mind and a clear heart, and not letting substances influence my mind or my body or my soul, I started prospering and making amazing decisions and prospering decisions and choosing better people in my life because I could see clearly, I could hear clearly because I wasn't constantly under influence. I know, like, one of my relationships, I had somebody who smoked every hour on the hour. And being around that person, you never knew what their mood was. It was always fluctuating. At one moment, she was lovey-dovey and cared about me. The next minute, she didn't give a rat's about me and was off trying to chase somebody else. One moment, she wanted to do this career. The next moment, she wanted to do that career. One moment, she was happy or unhappy. A constant fluctuation. Well, I posed the idea. Part of it was she was constantly under the influence. She wasn't thinking with her soul mind. Because we all have two minds. We have the ego mind and our inner soul, that divine spark within us that guides us, that comes from the Creator, God, light. So I'm going to try to keep this video short, but guys, I wish you the best. You need to change your life. Take action. Where in your life can you improve upon? If you're in that dark moment right now, if you feel like you're in rock bottom, one, some people choose to stay there. They live in that rock bottom. That poor, pitiful me, the blame game, they live there. And guess what? I don't know how many people I've come across in my life that choose to be in that pit, that dark tunnel in life, and they stay there. Guess what? They don't really improve. All the things they want in life, they don't really get. Because negativity attracts more negativity. Darkness attracts darkness, right? Law of manifestation. Darkness attracts more darkness. Sadness attracts more sadness. If you're sad, depressed, and toxic, you attract sad, depressing, toxic people to you. And those people and yourself love that, and then you stay in that lower vibrational state in life. You must choose the light, that positivity, that joy, that love. And it raises you up. You have to basically get rid of those aspects of yourself that are lower nature aspects. Maybe it's your addictions. And sometimes it's hard because sometimes maybe you don't see, a lot of people don't see that what they're doing is bad. They have done this their whole life, so they don't see it as negative or bad. And the only thing I tell you is this, that your inner knowing, your moral compass tells you. If you can't sleep at night and you're always in your head and that's your inner voice saying, hey, you're not happy because you're not following the divine truth or your divine self to take you to the divine path. You're on that dark road. That dark road with many bumps, twists, turns, obstacles, hazards. And the coolest thing is when you start learning self-mastery, taking responsibility, changing yourself, changing your thoughts, changing your actions, changing your environment that you live in, changing the people that you surround yourself with, you could take that steering wheel of your life, and you're like, hey, I realize I'm on this dark road. I realize I keep hitting these bumps, snags, these struggles, the lack, or these negative moments, or these toxic moments. And I'm going to take this wheel, empower myself, and I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to choose the road of light. And I also believe there's a spiritual battle on this earth, guys. You got to start viewing the world with spiritual eyes, spiritual ears. I wish you the best, and I hope this video is helpful. But the main aspect, guys, is you got to learn, what have I done to place myself in this pit of darkness or despair? Because in this world, dude, or I'm sorry, guys, there's a lot of darkness because we are in a captured operation. If you view the world and you done enough, guys, I got almost 20 years of endless research on how this world works, who controls what, why do certain things happen this way, and why do certain things happen this way. And the reason we're poor, a lot of it is we were compromised years ago by very powerful people who decided to take the controls of power and take our power and our sovereignty away. And that's why your rent's through the roof, your gas is through the roof, your food is through the roof. And we're living in a struggling day to day. One of the reasons there's that external factor is there's what I could call the cabal. They go by many names. That they're pulling the purse strings of this world. But obviously, I can't control what they do, right? I can control myself. So even in dark times, I choose to be the light. The beacon of hope. I choose to be Christ-like, Jesus-like, or Yeshua Benjamin Yosef, because the name of Jesus has been manipulated, guys. But most people know the term Jesus. I choose to be Jesus Christ-like. So how I changed my life is I chose to be loving and kind to other people, even if some of them upset me. You know what? Even if they're negative, I choose to not let them get to me. I'll walk away. And so when I started making better choices, actions in my own life, and being like, do unto others as you want to do unto them, my life changed. I have a steady roof over my head. I no longer eat spaghetti noodles and ketchup or bread and mustard. And I also chose to work for it, right? That's the good thing that came up to my mind is you have to work for it sometimes. Sometimes you have to take that job that is miserable. Guys, I've been there. That you can't, every day you go there, you can't take it. Every day you go there, you're like, I just want to quit. But sometimes you gotta in order to get from one end of the road to the other end, you gotta go through that wasteland sometimes. And that is, I had to work crappy jobs that I was unhappy with to start building income for myself, and then I started spending my money wisely to obtain a house, a car, financial stability. And then I always tell people, it's like climbing a ladder. You never stay when you get that one job, and yes, it's unhappy, it's mediocre. You never stay there. Always be planning ahead. All right, hey, I got 1 year at this job, and then I'm gonna transition to this career. Maybe I might go to school, college, and get a degree and take this job. Always try to climb up the ladder. Never stay stuck. That's where a lot of people, they stay stuck. They're in that factory job for 20, 30 years, and they always stay the same, and they don't really prosper, and they don't really fall down. They just stay the same. Move up in the life. But you have to do the hard work. Sometimes you're gonna have moments that suck. Sorry to say, I've been there, guys. But then I started making smart financial decisions. I stopped being addicted to alcohol and marijuana. I started taking my income and spending it wisely, saving half of it, and putting it into bettering my life. Then I started transitioning my career. And I'm still doing that to this day, guys. I write books. If you guys want more, like if you're happy and like what I'm speaking to you guys, you should really check out my books. They're on Amazon. They're called Hidden Knowledge, Gained Wisdom, Hidden Knowledge, Path to the Divine, and Hidden Knowledge, Gained Insight. And they're on Amazon, and I think there's a link on my profile. And they're by Eric Johnson. That's my corporate name or my birth name. On here I go by Aslan Speaks. And check it out, because I dive really deep, guys. There's years of knowledge, years of self-exploration and self-reflection and knowledge. And some of that stuff didn't even come from me. Like I said, sometimes the intuitiveness, the divine spark that's within you comes out and speaks and uses you as a tool. I hope this video is helpful, but you guys got to make the change. You got to make that choice. Do you want to stay in that darkness of your life, the despair, that rock bottom? Or do you choose the light? And the light, it means everything to different people, but usually it's the most positive feeling, because let's face it, we all want to feel loved, right? We all want friends or family or even a lover in our lives. We want to feel loved. But feeling loved starts with you loving yourself. Awakening maybe you have some people out there have dark hearts, and because they made poor decisions and everything, and their heart's closed off or whatever, you gotta fill that heart with love and light. Awaken it. being empathic to others. Making choices where like, hey, if I do this or this, I know it's going to hurt this person, so I choose not to do that. Where people with dark hearts, they know they know, hey, if I do this, this, and this, it's going to hurt them. Well, I don't care. It's me, I. Inner reflection, taking responsibility, and changing your mind to say, hey, I'm going to make the change necessary to change my life. Choose hope. When you're in those dark moments, you're in hopelessness. I realized I was in hopelessness, and I said, no, I choose hope. I choose God. I choose light. I choose love. I choose positivity. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. No more blame game. If you're not happy in the situation or the living situation that you're in, guess what, guys? You can change. You can move somewhere else. Maybe you had to take a crappy job and work for a year to save up to move. Well, you gotta do what you gotta do. Maybe you don't have a car, and maybe you have another opportunity to get somewhere else, but you can't drive there. Well, get a bike, pedal there. The human mind and spirit is amazing. And some of the things, I never thought I'd be a published writer. 10 years ago, I gave up on the dream. Until I was like, you know what? I'm going to put my willpower behind it. I'm going to make it happen. And I've done things that I never thought I would be able to achieve, and I've achieved it. And through positive thinking, I will achieve even greater things. And you too are capable of that. You can achieve greater things. Don't doubt yourself. The coolest thing is when you're in that pit of darkness, that is fear-based thinking. Fear-based emotions. Lower emotions. That's doubt and fear. That's always in your mind. I can't do this. I'm not good enough. I'm not intelligent enough. I'm not good looking enough. I don't have the skills. Negative. You got to change it to, hey, I am good enough. I am strong enough. I am powerful enough. And when failure is just lack of success, right? When you fail. But all the people that are super successful, they failed a lot of times. But in life, they just kept going and going until they succeeded. And that's what I've done. I've had some plenty of rock bottom moments in my life. Plenty of moments of despair. Plenty of broken people breaking my heart. Maybe a friend's family or a lover that broke me. I thought I wasn't coming back. But I chose the light. I chose God. I chose not to let other people define me or take away my power. I empowered myself because we are all created with that divine spark, that divine intelligence, that inner knowing, that when you tap into it, sky's the limit. Anyway, I wish you guys the best. Like, share, subscribe, guys. And if you found this helpful, send it to people you think could use words of wisdom. Check out my books. That would really mean a lot. And then if you like my books, you share them with others. Thank you so much, guys, and I wish you the best in your journey in life. I believe in you. With that, I love you, and God bless you all.